negotiations. He added that the matter is ultimately left to the leadership's decision and its assessments, and there are certainly many details that led Sudan's mission to take the decision to end the consultative dialogue without an agreement. Friday's consultations followed a phone call between U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and the head of the Sudanese Sovereign Council, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. This came while at least 28 civilians were killed and 46 others wounded in an attack launched Saturday by the Rapid Support Rebel Forces on Al-Fashir, the capital of North Darfur State in western Sudan. The RSF carried out new massacres after systematically bombing markets and civilian facilities, storming homes and executing citizens.
You're still listening to Radio Algeria International. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, has announced that it has begun negotiations with Zambia a day after its southern African neighbour closed their common border, blocking a key export route for Kinshasa. Zambian Trade Minister Shipuka Mulenge announced on Saturday the temporary closure of the border due to a trade dispute. The Congolese Trade Ministry said that discussions between the Congolese and Zambian governments had begun on Sunday via video conference with a view to the rapid reopening of the border. The two parties will be meeting shortly in Lubumbashi in Haut-Katanga to find a lasting solution to trade issues. The Congolese Trade Minister Julien Paluku Kongugia stated his ministry had not received any formal notification of a trade dispute from Zambia before announcing the closure of the borders. Meanwhile, at least 18 people have been killed and 14 are missing in two attacks attributed to the Allied Democratic Forces affiliated to the Daesh terrorist group in the east of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Over to you, Majid.
The UN High Representative Joseph Borrell has condemned the statement made by an Israeli official on a reduction in aid destined to the civilian population in Gaza. The EU official advocated the adoption of sanctions in response to what he termed an incitement to war crimes. He denounced the Israeli officials' call for fuel cuts and a decrease in aid to the Palestinians, which comes at a time when the world is calling for a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip.
China has called for a de-escalation in Ukraine as fighting continued between the Ukrainian and Russian forces in the bordering region of Kursk. The Chinese Foreign Ministry urged the parties not to extend the battlefield, intensify the fighting, and not to fuel tension. This came as Russia ordered the civilian population to evacuate the regions of Belgorod and Kursk on the border region with Ukraine. The evacuation orders have been extended by the Russian authorities to the district of Belovsky in order to ensure the population's security. According to the authorities, over 76,000 people have been evacuated from the region of Kursk that has come under attacks launched over the past days by the Ukrainian forces. Meanwhile, the Russian army, which admitted the existence of enemy activities in the area, said it had destroyed several drones launched by the Ukrainian forces on 3 regions in Russia's western part. In this connection, Russia's President Vladimir Putin accused Ukraine of seeking to sow discord among the Russian society. Addressing a government meeting today, he affirmed that his enemy's objective was clear and was designed to, as he put it, intimidate the population and deal a blow to the unity and cohesion of the Russian society. Youth Day is celebrated annually on August 12 in Algeria and around the world since the United Nations established it in 1999 and recommended that public training activities be organized to position young people as important partners in promoting peace. The celebration of this day seeks to raise awareness in society at an international level about the decisive role that young people have today in putting technology at the service of sustainable development. In this regard, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said young people are participating in development, making the most of digital tools to tackle local and global problems.
The young people will be crucial on that. Okay. There were, in my lifetime, different attitudes of those that are responsible for governments or for institutions like the UN in relation to young people. Yeah. In the beginning, nobody cared about what young people would think. Yeah. Then there was an attempt to start sometimes listening to the voice of young people. Then there was a certain moment in which, okay, let's listen, let's discuss, let's give an impression that their opinions matter. But now what we need is to make young people participate in the decision-making processes. And this is the jump that I would like that the forms of governance that the Summit of the Future will discuss will allow for the way we organize global governance in the world.
That was the statement of the UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres on the occasion of Youth Day. That's it for today's news bulletin. I invite you now to listen to a special program. Stay tuned on Radio Algeria International.
Hello and welcome to Discover Algeria, a program devoted to national heritage through ages and years. And this program is devoted in its second part to the Bardo Museum, and more precisely to the Bardo Palace and the restorations it underwent recently. Actually 6 years of restorations, and the Bardo has recently opened to the great delight